How's it going, ladies and Bruces? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Let's get into it because I'm very excited about this one to see where it goes, because we have been caught and betrayed, and there's a reasonable chance that we'll end up with a true death because of it. Well, if we pick this one, we'll get a true death, which we're not going to do because that would be dumb. Let's outwit Philippe. At least we can do that one. We can't prove that we're useful, but I don't want to anyway because fuck this guy. But we need to stay alive. You put yourself together and start thinking. You have to earn your freedom, and for that you have to prove that you can be useful to City Hall. But you cannot betray the lotless who are still free. And so you start talking. You describe everything you have learned over the past 3 years, including your work with the lotless, your recruitment and propaganda efforts, and the public activities you've hosted. Philippe listens carefully to every word you say. You use your cunning to convince him that the lotless pose no threat and have no leadership with Sophia and you out of the picture. If you're to be believed, the lotless were already on the verge of disbanding. Sophia is silent and emotionless as you speak. Nothing in her reacts to your lies. Well then, you're quite self-assured, Brante. So you're trying to tell me that your entire secret society was held together entirely through your efforts? Granted, you talk far better than those half-literate street rats. One way or another, the lotless have outlived their usefulness. I have no use for the rest of those pathetic ragamuffins. Colour be impressed, but if you disappoint me, so much the worse for you. Now mark my words, from this moment on, you're my secret servant. This is your only lot in life now, as it were. You will obey me and no one else, and do not even think of mentioning the secret chancellery to anyone. You and Sophia will return to Anazot. Tell everyone you have earned a small fortune in the capital, or made wealthy friends. You're a slippery young man. Just think of something believable, will you? Once you're there, open a print shop. Don't waste too much time on it. This job will be your cover to keep you looking busy in public. Many people will pay you visits from time to time and bring you instructions from me. I have big plans for your desert province. My every instruction must be carried out immediately. If you ever fail or try to fool me, your family will suffer along with you. Here, this should be enough for the print shop. Now, you have something to bring back home. With a chuckle, Philippe drops a hefty pouch at your feet. It falls like a rock and makes a sound that only gold can make. Before you can say anything, he turns around and leaves. Once you're left alone with Sophia, she finally lets her emotions rise to the surface. Don't you dare call me a traitor. Do you think it was easy for me to watch my friends be killed? Nobody would have left the room alive if it wasn't for me. Yes, I bound everyone I could with my spell, because otherwise you would have died trying to fight back. I hoped I could get everyone out of there alive, but I only got you out. It's a good thing you said what you said. Now Philippe will pay no attention to the lotless. The survivors will continue our work eventually without us. And as for you and me, Philippe has us on his leash now. We'll have to survive like this. We can't run from him, and if I don't do what I'm told, you'll have me collared and sent back to the house of humility to be an obedient, soulless puppet. But we have each other now. We can do this. Don't lose hope. Screw you, lady. A jailer enters the room before you can say anything else. You're led out of the prison and into the yard. You wince at the light of the sun and the shining pillar. Your carriage takes you back to the flophouse where you took refuge after the march of the collars. The driver kindly informs you that he has orders to take you back to Anazot in 3 days. You start packing. It all feels like a dream. Everything will happen exactly as Philippe said. You have nowhere to run. If you try to flee, they'll find you. And they'll find your family first. In the blessed Arknian Empire, there is no way to start over with a clean slate. The twins and the secret chancellery see all. Your months in prison are left in the past, but can you truly call yourself free now? You'll be going home soon. Great. Cool. You rescue the lotless and the secret society continues its activities in the capital. You now serve the secret chancellery. Your life and fate are now in the hands of advisor Philippe Alfero. Cool. Lucky me. Just before you leave the capital, you overhear something unusual on the streets. Julius Diamant, Patriarch of Astinia and one of the leaders of the new faith, will stand trial before a church tribunal. The Orders of the Inquisition has accused Patriarch Junius of patronizing blasphemous witches and disseminating heresy. The Holy Tribunal claims that Junius Diamant was scheming to free all witches and sorcerers from the collars that fetter their accursed powers, and what's worse, the Patriarch was also accused of forming the Lotless, a dangerous secret society based in the imperial capital. Members of the society have been assaulting inquisitors and priests of the church, as well as freeing witches from the cleansing fire and helping them escape the holy law. Now the Patriarch must face the Holy Tribunal of the Inquisition in Eterna. By all accounts, this is a devastating blow to the new faith, and the end of days for Junius Diamant himself. The Inquisition will make the most of this opportunity to rid the land of this unwelcome patriarch who dared to shake the foundation of the old faith. But then comes the sudden news of Patriarch Junius's reply to the Holy Tribunal. It is no less stunning than the accusation. These words are nothing but lies. I will say this to anyone who dares to bring the accusation against me on purpose, but I want these hypocrites to bear the full weight of their responsibility for the slander against me, my flock, the Diamond Dynasty and the Holy Order. I agree to stand trial before the Holy Tribunal, but I will face them on my own land and on my own terms. Patriarch Junius has already received strong support from Patriarch Luke and many priests across Arknia. Parishes of the new faith throughout the Empire are now speaking out in support of Junius Diamant. The Church of the Twin Gods is about to be rent in twain. The Inquisition has no choice but to revoke the trial in order to avert the coming schism. Their new official stance is that Patriarch Junius has been wrongfully accused, and the Holy Tribunal will now apply more cautious judgment during any further trials against the followers of the new faith. Following the teachings of Patriarch Photis is no longer seen as heresy by the Inquisition. The trial of Junius Diamant has been averted, but the divide within the Church is only deepening. The new faith has directly challenged the old faith. The result is uncertain, depending on who you ask. Some say Junius Diamant all but plead guilty. Others believe the Patriarch and the alleged rebellion against the Church, as well as the Inquisition, is nothing but a ruse. There are also people who think the entire situation sounds like one of the secret chancellery's dirty deeds. One way or another, the Patriarch of Astinia and co-leader of the new faith remains at his post. But for how long? And how will the old faith and new faith clash next? Cool. Let's go home. The Reglata and Taurina rivers meet outside the city walls. You have barely left the capital since you came here all those years ago. A breeze is blowing on your face and the bright noon sun hangs above the shining pillar. Your stay in Eterna has come to an end. You arrive here a boy full of hopes and aspirations, driven by your family's expectations and a desire to live your life as you saw fit. Where did your youthful ambition lead you in the end? Eterna never became your home. To you, it was a place of turmoil and disappointment. You tried to change the course of history, but history broke you in half and threw you away. You were too young and inexperienced. Your entire life was wrecked by a single decision. What future could you possibly have now? All of your hopes are buried here in Eterna. You must leave the city behind. Your hands clench into fists as you think about it. You will live two lives, a public life as the owner of a print shop, and a secret life as a spy for the secret chancellery. This is the only path fate has in store for you now. Mother used to say that humility and hard work are the strength of the common folk. Each new blow brings less pain and teaches you to get back up more quickly. All you have to do is walk this path without showing weakness. But you strayed from the path of humility and graduated from the school of hard knocks. You learned to lie and manipulate others, to survive and hide and act in secret. As a teacher, Sophia had no equal. But what are you supposed to do now? Will you accept your role in the schemes of the secret chancellery, since it means well for the Empire? Or will you have what it takes to find another way and use your new position for schemes of your own? Many things must have changed back home by now. You recall Gloria particularly fondly, the way she used to rebel all the time and defy her lot to write poems. She always fought hard to be herself, no matter what other people or the law said. Gloria was the only one who supported your decision to find your own path. You wanted to see her so badly and tell her all the news and share the joy of your return with her. You have to get her a gift from the capital, something that will matter to your sister. While there's still time, you decide to buy her a book she could never find in Nanazot. You start combing through the market. You go to 5 bookstores, but you see nothing suitable. One last shop, and then it's time to leave. You promise yourself. The store is marked by an unremarkable sign on an unremarkable building. You enter a dark room full of bookshelves. On one of the shelves, you see a small book bound in black leather. The name of the author, Char Melanidus, is stamped in gold. You peek inside. That's strange. This is not a biography of the rebellious Duke and his rebellion. It is not even a study of his legacy. It is a book of his poems. You thumb through the pages and realize that Gloria would enjoy this book very much. The poetry of Char Melanidus is about love and struggle and strength of will and the drive to keep fighting even when all hope is lost. The book costs almost nothing. It leaves the bookstore with you. You leave the capital the morning after. The carriage hired by the secret chancellery awaits you at the door. Eterna, the city where you spent 4 years, slowly disappears on the horizon. Will you never see the capital again? You do not know. The book, A Gift for Gloria, is in your hands. You know what? It sucked to get here, but I'm happy we're going home. After 4 years in the capital, you return to your home of Anazot. I'm looking forward to seeing Gloria again. And Nathan, although we have to leave our friend behind, Thomas. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and a new business in your hometown of Anazot. The years away from home were full of tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decision. Did you have the freedom to choose this lot for yourself, or was it destiny all along? Ever since your childhood years, all you can do now is follow the path that lies before you. Okay. We boosted our diplomacy and our manipulation is quite high too. Hell yeah. We even got our scheming up reasonably good. Our valor is nearly there. I don't know if we can keep putting it up forever or whether eventually it'll come to a point where we are just doing skill checks rather than skill boosts.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
Peacetime. Well, that sounds good. I like peacetime. It's much better than wartime. The carriage makes its way along the road. You see the land of Magra through the window, empty and desiccated by ancient magic. Your home, Anazot, is but a few hours away along this road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even when the thick blinds pulled tight. It is a familiar heat, but you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavily on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. How will they react to you? Will they accept you after you betrayed their hopes and their trust? You're back in your native province. You'll be home soon. You're no longer the boy who took this very road to the capital 4 years ago. But who are you now? A clandestine outlaw? A rebel? Or an agent of the secret chancellery? What future awaits you now? Can you get your freedom back? Can you save everything you hold dear? To drive away the worries about your new life and your new destiny, you reread Sophia's letter yet again. I'm glad you didn't do anything stupid and chose to seize your chance for freedom, Brante. I'll go to Anazot a week after you. Both of us coming back at the same time might attract unwanted attention. It's best if nobody even knows that we have anything to do with each other. We'll find an excuse for our frequent meetings later. You should go home and reconnect with your family. Don't draw any attention. Keep your head down. Don't leave that old house of yours. When the time comes, I'll find you. Tell everyone you're planning to open a print shop. Find a building to rent for it, someplace far from prying eyes. It'll be our underground headquarters. I'll tell you more about our mission when we meet. That's all. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anazot have finally emerged on the horizon. Before you do anything else, you are going home. Hell yeah. I want to at least see Gloria and Nathan. Everyone else is going to hate us, but you know. Alright, we got a lot to do. Let's get into it. Occupation. Oh, alright. Okay. What does that do? Unrest and spy network. Okay. Cool. Continue. I don't want to be a spy. I know that sounds awesome, but I don't want to do it. Not for the evil empire. Okay, I don't know if they're evil, but... The carriage stops. The familiar gate, your bedroom window, the same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and Mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off when you were little. You're home. You touch the handle of the front door and hold for a moment. It's been 4 years since you left for Returner, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool. As usual, Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. Inside the house, the first thing you hear is the sound of someone running out of the library. Your sister Gloria appears and immediately throws her arms around you. Her joy is so strong you barely manage to stay on your feet. Gloria is dressed in men's clothing, including culottes, a frock coat and a necktie with a massive pin. She's almost unrecognisable in her new attire. There are dark circles under her eyes as though from lack of sleep or frequent tears. Brother, I've been waiting for you for so long. I'm proud to see you've chosen your own path and decided to live the way that you want. You're actually going to open your own print shop? You're going to print books, even poetry? Speaking of poetry, from the inner pocket of your jacket you produce a small bound book in soft black leather. Gloria gingerly accepts your gift. She notices the author's name, Char Melanidus, on the cover and knits her brow. But after quickly flipping through the pages, she showers you with gratitude. I thought Melanidus was just a warlock. I had no idea he wrote poetry. How fascinating. I'm going to read it all from cover to cover. Mother comes out of the sitting room, leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of the illness mentioned in the letters from home. Her back is bent, her hair is grey, a thin web of wrinkles covers her face, and her complexion has lost its colour. She slowly embraces you. Her arms feel nearly weightless. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds you by the shoulders and studies you for a long time. Been away so long, son. It's such a shame your journey was in vain. You didn't become a judge or even a priest. I guess it's your fate to be your lot until the very end, but you'll endure it. That's how I raised you. Nathan approaches you after Mother. Your younger brother is the same height as you now. His hair almost reaches his shoulders, but he still has the same lost look in his eyes that he had when he was a boy. It's good to see you, brother. Home just hasn't been the same without you. Who cares about your estate, right? I'm just glad that you're here with us again. You pat Nathan on the back. Loud footsteps echo down the stairs. Stefan appears. His shoulders have grown broader and his features have become harsher, just like grandfather's. He stares you and Nathan down with contempt, his arms crossed on his chest. Welcome back, commoner. I'd hope you become my equal, but apparently you just didn't have it in you. I guess you know better than Nathan. I can only hope that you know your place from now on. Why did Father even send you to the capital in the first place? As Stefan says these words, you see Father appear from his study. He looks older now, his back is hunched and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in the dark hair and moustache. He stops a few steps away and examines you from head to toe. He does not say a word, shaking his head slowly. You explain yourself to Father. This is the only path you could have taken. The college and the judge's calling were not for you. However, your time in the capital was not spent in vain. You've made many influential friends there, and now you plan to open a print shop in Anazot and make a good living. You do your best to make this sound convincing. No one can ever see through your cover story. When I sent my son to the capital, I expected him to return a nobleman, but the man who stands before me is a commoner, a merchant, an artisan. I had high hopes for you, but our family's future rests in Stefan's hands now. Oh well. I've had enough time to make my peace with this. You're still a member of this family. We'll see how your shop fares. Perhaps you can still find a way to contribute to the Brante household. He lets out a bitter chuckle. Then after a pause, Father spreads his arms wide to embrace you. You're finally home, my son. Well then, time for dinner. Your mother has prepared a veritable feast in your honour. For the first time in years, your entire family shares a meal at the same table. Oh, what can we do? Find out how Mother is doing. She's already maxed out. Ask Gloria about her life. That makes Stefan go down, and Gloria's already maxed out. Let's chat with Nathan then. That seems like the most useful, because we can still earn relationship with Nathan. At the table, you ask Nathan how he's doing. Your inquiries make your little brother uncomfortable. I worked as hard as I could, studied theology, read books, but during my examination at the seminary, I started talking about something else entirely. I don't know what came over me. The priest asked me, what is this manifestation of the twins' love for people? And I went and said, forgiveness. What are you talking about, son? The twins can never forgive anyone for their sin. For any sin. Otherwise, how could we fulfill their design? Everyone would just do whatever they wanted since the twins would forgive them anyway. Sorry fills Nathan's eyes. The priest was furious too. Out of the seminary, you ignoramus, he shouted. So I left. Now I don't know what to do with myself. Then be silent. If we must hear about the trials and travails of commoners, I'd rather learn how destiny abandoned Brucey in the lowliest state. You have to relate the 4 years you spent in the Turner, carefully omitting anything that might reveal your secret mission. You resume your conversation with Nathan later that night. You sit together on the back porch away from the rest of the family. I'm glad someone cares about me, brother. You've always been there for me. It must be painful for you to see me grow up to be so useless. Things are bad for me. I try to at least look after Mother. You can ask her questions, but her answers often don't make sense, and she keeps falling silent in the middle of a conversation, like she did today. Her illness is consuming her. You know, if Mother passes, she may not be reborn. I dread to think what will happen to Father then, and to Gloria. Gloria's had it hard too, lately. Stefan has treated her like dirt for the last year. I think he plans to drive her out of the house, so her origins won't taint the Brante reputation anymore. Stefan only cares about one thing now, getting our family ennobled by the sword. So for him, Gloria is just an obstacle between him and his goal. You spend quite some time in silence, gazing at the radiant stripe of the shining pillar as it grows more and more luminous against the darkening sky. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. About to? It's all been challenging times. After several days of searching and inquiring, you find a suitable location for the print shop. You choose a 2-story building on a dead-end street, away from any pedestrian thoroughfares. Right next to the city's outer walls, spacious and sturdy, it has more than enough space for the printing press and workbenches. The basement is dry and the windows are too tiny to peek through. It is the perfect location for a clandestine headquarters. You inspect the rooms. This corner will be good for the typesetting area, and the shelves of ink can go over there. Before you finish, Sophia knocks at the door. Once inside, she casts a glance over the rooms and walls and chuckles with approval. This is just what we need, Brant. A perfect location. I couldn't have found anything better myself. Guess the capital taught you well. I'm glad to see I was right about you. This job will be a lot easier with your help. Sophia brushes a layer of dust from an old wooden crate, then lights her pipe as she sits. So, how about I tell you what you and I are up to in this town, huh? Remember what we did in the capital? Well, we're going to do the same trick here in Anazot. That's our mission. Philippe wants us to found an underground society here. Anyone who wants to rebel and riot, we'll let them join. We'll also keep them in check, and use them to do whatever the secret chancellery says. Oh, that's fucked. We're going to do that? I still don't know everything Philippe's planning yet, but I can tell you he was real angry about how the Inquisition cast all the dirt we dug up on Patriarch Junus to the four winds. Here in Anazot, Philippe wants the real deal. You frown. The real deal? What's that supposed to mean? It means you and I have to find all the troublemakers in town and take charge of them. Anybody who's willing to fight for their rights, we turn them into an organised force under our command, and then we use them to do whatever Philippe wants. Philippe wants to take the city in his own hands. He needs disorder, little disturbances and riots, enough unrest so there's always an excuse to arrest folks whenever they need to. But Philippe always has to be in control. That is the secret chancellery's way. As long as the streets are restless, everybody, especially the overseer, will keep thinking good old Sir Philippe El Ferro is a real useful friend to have, saviour of the Empire and all that, their last bulwark against the rabble-rousers. The more riots and unrest we incite, the stronger our underground force will become, and the stronger the secret chancellery will get. Once the people are shouting in the squares, the prefecture and the magistrate will be powerless, and our buddy Philippe will pick up the slack. You following so far? You nod. So you're supposed to incite unrest, is that all you have to do? I'm good at that. That's just the beginning. Philippe also wants the Lesser Quorum broken up at some point in the future. It's full of folks who don't like the way things are done in the Empire. But the Empire's lucky for now. The Lesser Quorum spends too much time bickering and not enough time trying to work together. That'll work in our favour. So by the time Philippe wants to blackmail the Lesser Quorum, we need to have our own underground network. And it's got to be big enough for his needs. We'll frame the Quorum members, gather accusations, plant agents, stuff like that. In other words, we'll do the secret chancellery's dirty work for them. Now let's get down to business. Here in Anazot, there are some big shots who are opposing the Imperial Order. We need to do our best to exploit them for our cause. If we're lucky enough, maybe we can even get them on our side. Sophia starts counting on her fingers. Number 1 on my list is Augustine Alborn, Prefect of Magra. He's almost a relative to you, isn't he? When Gaius Tempest was first appointed Overseer of Magra, he was the only member of the Provincial Council who openly supported him. Alborn is one of the most powerful nobles in Magra, but he's always protected the common folk. He could be our main ally, or a real dangerous enemy. The second fellow worth mentioning is Mayor Egmont, leader of the wealthy commoners in the Lesser Quorum. He's an old merchant who got rich mining silver and managed to weasel his way into provincial politics, as a commoner. We need to ensure Egmont's support as soon as possible. He's rich, powerful, and will be useful to our cause. Man, I wish I'd let Sophia get trampled by horses, but she'd still be around because it was only her first death. Fuck. Last on my list is Father Leonard. He is the abbot of the temple by the Silver Tree and the local spiritual leader of the New Believers. Right now, lots of Magran commoners are rejecting Asatius' teachings of the lots, and it's all thanks to Leonard and his influence. If those folks have managed to cast off one burden, it should be easy to talk them into rejecting another one. Sophia taps her pipe against the crate, knocking the remaining tobacco on the floor. One more thing, Brant. We're going to be manipulating people. I'm talking lies, half-truths, using and exploiting folk, you name it. And we need to get them to follow us. That's a tough thing to do. People can smell phonies a mile away, so we have to believe everything. They have to believe everything we say. I mean, really believe it from the bottom of our hearts. If you aren't ready to die for your cause, why expect it from other folks? But you also have to remember who we're really doing this for. She trails off. You wait a moment, then asks Sophia why she's agreed to do this. Why is she working for Philippe? Can't she run from him? Or use her magic to subdue him? Sophia's deep eyes focus all their attention on you. The merciless Magran sun fills the room through the narrow window, reflecting in her eyes as a multitude of yellow sparks. You think I never tried it, Brant? Don't be naive. Magic will not help me bring Philippe down. When I use my power, you'll notice it quickly, and Philippe notices it even faster. If I try to enchant him ever again, I'll be collared and sent back to the House of Humility. I'm never going back there again, not ever. As for escaping, there's no hiding from the secret chancellery. Sooner or later, they'll find me. The Empire is absolute. The Empire is eternal. The Empire is everywhere. We're all in the same cage. There's no way out of it. And so it will be, as long as the Empire still stands. So forget about running away. If you want to get out of this alive, just do what I tell you. Trust me, and I'll take care of you. I can't trust you. No way. Now, let's talk about your next step. We need to shore up our cover story. Make sure it doesn't fall apart the first time Gendarmes take a closer look at it. Get this print shop to work. You need employees. You're good at picking the right people. Just as good as me, so you'll do the hiring. Choose people who are loyal. People who do the job and keep their mouths shut. When Philippe gets here, we'll have to show him what we've accomplished so far. And you don't want to disappoint him. So you better get cracking. We've got a lot of work to do. With that, Sophia nods to you and leaves. You're left alone to pace the rooms of your future print shop and think, what will you do first? Okay. Hire spies, moles, and crooks. Interesting. Let's just commit to the printing business. If we're stuck here making a print shop, we might as well make it a fucking awesome print shop, right? The undercover part of your job can wait. You have to get the print shop up and running first. You'll not be satisfied by a mere semblance of a business, no. You're going to have found a successful shop capable of turning a profit. You convince father to contribute a portion of the family's funds to the venture and purchase a printing press, movable type, quality paper, and expensive ink. Then you hired skilled labour, the best printers you can find in Anazot. They will teach the future resistance members, whom you will hire later. It is such a pleasure to watch the print shop come to life. You may have begun this undertaking for an entirely different cause, but now you've turned the print shop into something that is yours. The first thing you print is a thick stack of advertising sheets. Soon these black and red leaflets appear on every street corner of Anazot. Brante's print shop is open for business. Hell yeah! Get some willpower back as well, that's good too. You started your service for the secret chancery by opening a print shop as a cover. It's not just a cover, baby, that's a print shop. Profitable business. Thanks to your investment, the print shop becomes much more believable as a front for your underground operations. And you may actually turn a profit sooner or later. I'd rather sooner, please. I'll take sooner. You come back home after a short stroll through the city. As soon as you set foot in the house, you're greeted by Stefan, who invites you to have a talk in Father's office. When you enter the room, Father has a heap of letters in front of him and is signing them off one after another. Son, Stefan and I must discuss an important matter with you. While you're in the capital, our family formally petitioned the overseer to grant us the nobility of the sword. We have 3 generations of noble blood already. We have the right to make our nobility hereditary. Your grandfather took the first steps towards the nobility of the sword as soon as Stefan was born, and now we're on the brink of becoming El Brants. If Overseer Gaius Tempest and the nobles of the province deem us worthy, we will receive a hereditary title. All nobles of the Brant family will remain noble forever, as will their descendants. Father and I do our utmost to maintain the family's position, but our goal can be reached only if our reputation remains unblemished in the eyes of high society. The nobility is watching our every step. Father lays a hand on your shoulder. Now this is your cause too. The future of our family depends on it. We need an estimable reputation and wealth. Everyone bearing the name of Brant affects it. Remember that with your every action you take, Brucey. You will have to appear before Anazot High Society. We're going to host a reception for the nobility at our home soon. You must uphold the honour of our family, brother. You'll relate the news from Eterna to our guests and present yourself in a favourable light. I can do that. I'm good at talking shit. With Stefan at the helm, the entire family spends a week preparing for the majestic reception. The house is flooded with decorations and new tableware. Delicacies are cooked in the kitchen round the clock, and the napkins now bear an embroidered oak branch in chains, the Brant family crest. Gloria is the only one to neglect the common cause. Were it up to me, I wouldn't be seen at this hypocritical gathering, but I don't want to let Sir Robert down. He's the only reason I plan to stay for the event. The evening of the reception has come. Dignified conversations and the clinking of glasses fill the house. Among your guests are many high-born, powerful people. Your father and Stefan dance from guest to guest, making sure no one is overlooked. Young Brucey, how splendid to see you. So, what was your time in the capital like? You exchanged pleasantries with a high-placed relative. Meanwhile, Gloria and Mother spend the evening on a settee by the wall without drawing any attention. Neither your father nor your elder brother introduced them to the noble guests. Still one of the guests, a young nobleman of the sword named Jose L. Peltier, keeps staring at Gloria in fascination. Your sister averts her eyes, bemused. Lady Gloria, you're the true gem of the evening. You look so marvellously daring. I haven't seen your like even in the capital. When you walk past Gloria, you hear a hurried whisper. Brucey, please talk to me. This Sir L. Peltier keeps following me. I feel uneasy. What does he want from him? I'm just a lowly commoner. Come with me to the other side of the room, although I'll probably still stand out among all those refined nobles. Look, it's Durant the painter. I wonder what brought him so far from the capital. It would be fabulous if he could paint our family portrait. We should all be on a canvas together. We're one big happy family after all. Yeah, sure we are. Wine glasses in hand, you cast a look across the crowded room. It's time to choose how you will spend the evening. And with that, we're going to wrap this episode up here, because we're out of time, once again. I'm reasonably happy with the whole printing business, you know. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but, you know, it's alright. Hopefully we can keep that up before, you know, we stab everybody in the back and destroy everything. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.